When I recommend a manga, I always make sure that it's new and unique, so you always leave my recommendation videos satisfied and have something new to read. But this time, I'll switch things up a little bit and recommend you mangas that are popular because I thought, well, not all of us can be considered as pros when it comes to reading manga. There are people out there who are still only dipping their toes on the medium and are searching for mangas that are universally considered as good. So, that's what I'm gonna do today. If you are a long-time manga reader, then you probably already know these mangas that I'm gonna recommend. And if you are new to manga, then this video is gonna be a delight for you. Either way, old or new, I think you'll leave this video carrying a new manga to read with you because I have a few surprises stored for each and everyone. So,
here we go.
Spy Family is an anomaly in the Shonen Jump magazine. It's not your typical Shonen Jump manga with the main character having cool abilities and gets stronger and stronger for every opponent he fought and sometimes bullshit itself with the power of friendship. No, Spy Family is the story of a spy, an assassin, and a telepath living together as a family while hiding their true identity from each other. This creates this weird and entertaining dynamic to the three of them that you can't really find anywhere. You'll step in this manga expecting a high-octane spy action, which it has, and it's amazing. But I'm 100% sure that you'll stay because of the characters and the fascinating dynamics that they have. And also because of the high-octane spy action, of course. This manga is so refreshing and the atmosphere is so infectious that I always find myself smiling and laughing whenever I'm reading it. I love how Lloyd is the greatest spy that have ever lived, but is also terrible at parenting. I love how Yor is this badass underworld assassin called the Thorn Princess, but is also terrible at cooking. And I love how Anya is the only one in the family who knows the real identity of everyone because she can read the minds of her parents. I love this family so much. And you should too. Moving on. Chainsaw Man is a term that you need to get accustomed to by now because you're probably gonna be hearing that term a lot. Chainsaw Man is beyond normal, but it's probably one of the greatest manga series that I've read for the last 3 years. The story is about a guy named Denji who has a pet devil with a chainsaw in his face. He has a shitty life and a huge amount of debt thanks to his father. He pays his debt by selling his body parts and killing devils for the Yakuza. Turns out, the Yakuzas are dumb, and in exchange for power, they were turned into zombies by a devil. Denji tried to kill this devil but he got owned instead. Near death, Pochita, his pet devil, gave him his heart, resulting in him fusing with his pet devil, turning him into Chainsaw Man. After obliterating the devil into smithereens by using his newfound chainsaw power, Makima, a public safety devil hunter, approached him and offered him to become his dog in exchange for food. And he agreed, but not just because of the food, but also because he wants to touch her boobs, which is relatable as fuck. But kidding aside, Chainsaw Man has the bloodiest, gore-filled fight scenes of all time. It's like straight out of a Junji Ito manga, and that's a huge compliment. Sometimes it can get so abstract that you have no choice but to keep reading even though you didn't understand shit. You feel like your mind is getting fucked all the time whenever you're reading this manga, and that's fine. God, I love Chainsaw Man.
Chainsaw Man.
Moving on. Records of Ragnarok is the epitome of all tournament arcs in this generation. The story is just about one massive tournament arc that will decide the fate of all humanity, and to make matters worse, the opponents are literal gods with their godly abilities. And the representatives of humanity? You know, just the greatest humans that ever existed. The absolute top of the food chain. And their fights? Out of this world. Every match is godlike and you can really feel the adrenaline and the passion on every blow, every punch, and every misdirects, and it's such a blast reading this manga. Jack the Ripper versus Hercules? Best fight for me so far. Oh, and I should also mention that it already has an anime adaptation, and let's just say that it's garbage and it's a complete trash. So you should just stick to the manga. Moving on. Jagaaaaaan is a trip. So, a bunch of frogs rain down from the skies, and each frog has the ability to fuse to a person and transform them to a monster by amplifying their life's desire. They are called fractured humans, and they are ugly as hell because people are really ugly inside. And we have this police officer as a protagonist who always puts on a fake smile but really wants to fucking shoot people. So combine that with a tadpole, so he only transforms halfway and has control of his newfound powers, and you have the most trippy ass story that you could ever find. And I mean that literally because I kid you not, he snorts these dung balls like he's doing a bag of cocaine, and an owl is his supplier. But despite all of that, the fight scenes are goddamn good, like the gritty kind of seinen fights, and it's amazing. His abilities are basic as hell, but who cares? A gun as a hand? It's so in character. He's a simpleton and he's a cop. So, a handgun. Get it? Cause his hand is a gun and anyways. And this man, his main motivation is that after he defeats all these fractured humans, he wants to fucking die just so he could revive his girlfriend that he killed. Isn't that novel as fuck? I told you, Dragon is a trip. Moving on. Jisatsuto or Suicide Island is not the manga that you think it is. Yes, it's about suicidal people, but it's much more than that. So, in the story, if a person attempts suicide and fails, a doctor will ask that patient if he or she still wants to die or not after they regain consciousness. And if the patient said, yes, I still want to die, the government doesn't kill them. Instead, they are brought to this abandoned island where they all have the freedom to do whatever they want. They are deemed as dead by the government, and it's up to them if they want to make that a reality or live their lives in this abandoned, desolate island. It's kind of a second chance almost. After they got shifted, most of them decides to just end it all and kill themselves. And surprisingly, there's a number of people who change their minds after seeing other people die right before their eyes. Others doesn't want their deaths to be meaningless, so they hold off on dying just yet. But the majority of them are just afraid. And the people who slowly realizes that living is worth it and tries to find hope in this hopeless place are the characters that we follow, and over time we see their growth and their struggles on continuously living, and it's a very beautiful sight. Definitely read Jisatsuto. Moving on. Ingoshima is wild. A ship of high school students is heading to an island for their school trip. Everything was fine until it's not. A huge sea current hit the ship and they crash on an abandoned island. Pretty basic stuff. But the abandoned island was not so abandoned after all. Bodies starts disappearing one by one. The locals, not so friendly. They kill, abduct, and sacrifice humans, and it's a fucking mess. The first thing that you'll notice if you read this manga is the art style, especially how the author draws girls because they are all very attractive. And that's on purpose because this manga has heavy sexual content. A lot of titties flying everywhere and it's fucking hot, not gonna lie. The main goal is of course to find a way home. But aside from that, they will also try to rescue all the people that got abducted, so that means multiple encounters to the fucked up locals, which is not gonna be pretty. But honestly, if you're gonna read Ingoshima, it's not the story that will hook you in. Although the story is still pretty good. It's the borderline hentai element that will make you stay. And boy does it sound enticing. Moving on. World's End Harem is probably what you think it is. The MK virus, also known as the man-killing virus, wreaked havoc in the world, killing 99.9% of all male. It's like your dishwashing liquids that kills 99.9% of the germs. Only 5 men remains, and it's up to them to repopulate the whole world by having sex with any women they desire. It's literally straight out of one of my fantasies. And many men's fantasies. I mean, imagine all the women want you, want your baby, and your response is, I'm gonna find my one true love and I'll ignore every last one of you. Like, what the fuck? How fucking dense can you be? And that's our protagonist. but thank God because the other men are not pussies and is going for the gold. A lot of gold. To this day, I'm still scratching my head to the fact that this is not a hentai. That premise is fucking hentai material. So if you want to read a hentai but not really, then read World's End Harem. Moving on. DeadTube is fucked up in a lot of ways. Let me explain. The day starts with Machiya getting invited by Mashiro Mai to film her for an entire 2 days non-stop. By non-stop, I mean even in sleep non-stop. The first day ended with nothing special happening. Just normal school stuff like swimming, hanging out with friends, eating lunch at school, the mundane. Then things got mildly sexual. Filming her pee, taking a bath, changing clothes, and sleeping. And then the final day came. It's a date. The whole day was relatively normal. Eating ice cream, buying jewelries, kissing, normal couple stuff. Then night came. The two went to an abandoned factory. They're going to have sex in there while being filmed by Machiya. As they are doing the deed, Machiya thought to himself, what a boring scene. And then a blood spurt in his face. From a sex scene, it turned into a fucking murder as Mashiro Mai bust this guy's head open with a pipe, hitting him over and over again until he's dead. Machiya, as promised, didn't stop filming. He actually got a boner by filming a straight up murder. And this is the start of their fucked up relationship. And when I say fucked up, I mean it. The ideas that these two come up just to get a lot of views on DeadTube is ridiculous. DeadTube, by the way, is like YouTube, but more fucked up. Film the most interesting video you can and you get a lot of money from views. From suicide to gangbang to straight up murder. Anything's possible. It's crazy. Moving on. Azure and Claude is a manga about suicide. Again, I don't know, I just gravitate towards stories that delves with the human psyche and the complexity of the mind. And also suffering. What if one day you got the ability to possess other people but there's a catch? There's a voice in your head that commands you who to possess and your job is to control that person's body and make that body to commit suicide. That's basically the main concept of the story. The conflict starts when the possessor or the cleaner puts his emotion on the job and took an interest on the girl that he is trying to commit suicide. In other words, a fucking mess. And lastly, Jigokuraku or Hell's Paradise is hell dressed as a paradise. Gabimaru is put on the death sentence, beheading, burned at the stake, torn asunder by oxen, execution by boiling. They tried all forms of killing him but nothing worked. Gabimaru wants to die, and when a master executioner with a true skill came to kill him, he flinched and prevented the decapitation from happening. Turns out, he didn't want to die. He loves his wife and he truly wants to live a normal life, but he can't because he's been conditioned to kill all his life and the clan that he is a part of doesn't let him be normal. But everything will change if he could acquire the elixir of life from this paradise island. The shogunate will pardon him for his crimes and he will acquire the protection of the shogunate and nothing would dare lay a hand on him, even his clan. A normal life awaits him. But the paradise island is a facade. It's not a paradise. Underneath all the pretty and beauty is an ugly, tormenting hell. And he needs to survive this hell and acquire the elixir of life so that he can have a normal life. How fucking ironic is that? But Hell's Paradise is great. Great story, great art, great symbolisms, fight scenes are phenomenal, and just an overall great dark fantasy manga. You should read it. And those are all the mangas that I'm gonna recommend for you today. I hope you found something new to read because that would mean I did my job right. If you like more manga recommendations, then check out my playlist on my channel of all the manga recommendation videos that I did. And while you're at that, subscribe to the channel for more manga recommendation videos in the future. And follow me on Twitter at JetRocketShip if you want. And that's it for me for now. I'm the villain in glasses and enjoy reading, weebs. Bye!